Okay, so let's get going. So I want to talk about hypergamy and why the understanding of hypergamy is a core foundational aspect of pro-male ideology. You can't deny that it exists, otherwise your whole worldview will be on wonky ground. Right? So let's get to this comment thread here. Okay. So by anonymous 54533. So I'll just call you 45. Right? 45. Okay. I never understood hypergamy. Is it like women are attracted to someone who has higher status than them in society? So this comes across as like a concern troll question to me, right? But whatever. So hypergamy is females being attracted to higher status men. Men also do this. I did a reply comment explaining why this is not exactly true. So men are attracted to higher status men for the social circles, but it's not so important to them in a relationship to women, and they're still less hypergamous than women are when it comes to other men as well, right? So human beings are natural status seekers and are natural excluders. The point of being part of a high status social circle is the power to exclude. That is just as important as the power to include. The power to include and the power to exclude, right? I think hypergamy is actually quite an inferior theory of how sexual attraction works. Okay, hypergamy is not a theory of how sexual attraction works. Hypergamy is a theory of female mate selection, not necessarily the same thing, right? Okay, women can bypass what they find attractive to go with the higher status man who's not physically attractive to them. It's very common female behaviour, right? And hypergamy is more than just a mate attraction anyway. Personally, I think sex and sexual attraction is about power. We want to conquer someone who we perceive that has higher power than us. I don't know what the fuck that means. Okay, this sounds like wonky psychoanalysis to me. This applies to both heterosexual and queer relationships, so both men and women. This is just wrong. Okay? Sex and sex roles are just role play. They're just enacted within the bedroom itself. They have almost nothing to do with the relationship roles outside the bedroom. If that was the case, men would be dominant over women because most women take on the passive role, the penetrated role, right? It's nothing to do with social roles or power dynamics within the relationship. So this is just bullshit. So I was talking to a Shield for Men the other day in a Discord conversation. We was talking about hypergamy and the denial of hypergamy, and he made a very succinct point, right, that I shouldn't forget to mention. This credit goes to him. Okay, he says feminists deny hypergamy. So why are they doing what the feminists want to do? So if you're denying hypergamy, you're playing a feminist tactic. Hypergamy is proven. Shield for Men has proven it in all these videos. It's beyond a doubt. Hypergamy is a theory of hypergamy, and it's backed up by evidence. There's no denying it anymore. You're either ignorant or you're dishonest, right? And if you're ignorant, it's up to you to like, brush yourself up about this because the evidence is out there. Okay, women want to conquer men who they perceive have higher power than them, and men also want to conquer women who they perceive to have higher power than them. This is just gibberish, right? Men go for lower status women all the time, right? Okay, men are not hypergamous. It's a game of dominance and submission. I think he's projecting his own mindset onto this. I don't think hypergamy is a really good theory for female sexuality. Hypergamy is not a theory of female sexuality. It's a theory of female mate selection. Okay, again, right? So power is just. So here's my comments. Power is status, though, so I don't understand what you're saying. Men are not hypergamous to the same extent as women, and will go for low status women if they're attractive. Hypergamy is real, and there is nothing wrong with the theory of that theory of sexual attraction. So you never pointed out any flaws of it. So I missed a sleight of hand that he did there, I didn't pick up into it till now, because hypergamy is not just a theory of sexual attraction; it's a theory of female mate selection. Not the same thing. This applies to both heterosexual and queer relationships, so both men and women. I'm quoting him. Women want to conquer a man who they perceive. I'm quoting him. Conquer a man who have higher power than them, and men also want to conquer some women who they perceive as a higher power than them, and play a game of dominance and submission. This is borderline gibberish, to be honest. Gay relationships between men do not work like that. So, yeah. So you can have like bottom men who like to get dominated in the bedroom, but who are dominant and bossy and bitchy in a relationship, right? Power is not just about status. Power is much more nuanced and complicated, and who has more power varies according to how a person perceives someone else. Check out Michael Foucault's theory of power. I've read Michael Foucault's book Discipline and Punish. I've never read any theory of power, and to be honest, I'm not really too interested in it because it's postmodernist. So I think I can comfortably dismiss that out of hand. I might check it out one day, but I'm not in a rush to exactly. But yeah, my point was that both men and women are attracted to someone who they perceived to have higher power than them. Okay, explain the fact that men are attracted to naughtiness, vulnerable women, right? Softer, weaker, smaller than them, less powerful than them, right? Why are men attracted to that? This doesn't make sense. You think about male sexuality at all. So if you say status of power is the same, that means both men and women are hypergamous. Okay, don't know what that means. Okay, you gain status by having power, right? Power is what you achieve status with, okay? Unless you're born into status. And if you're born into status, you get power. You get power, you get more status, okay? It's circular. But status and power are not the same. Status theory comes from Evo Psych, modernism. No, it doesn't. Like, what the fuck? And power theory comes from postmodern theory. Okay, yeah, but that postmodernism is gibberish. Although these things are often used by social constructionists and idealists, even in a gay relationship, we have a top and bottom. The top has higher power than the bottom. No, it doesn't. This is just bollocks, right? I don't know what the fuck you're on about. You're conflating bedroom roles with personal relationship roles. Men are just as hypergamous. They measure women based on their looks, hence the whole looks is a projection. The whole women are going for the top 20% of men is true for men as well. They want the top 20% of the most beautiful women. This is bullshit again. It's been proven by dating studies that men are less fussy and selective than women. So this is just a whataboutism accusation. Oh, men are just the same as women. This is just not true. Most beautiful with porn-like bodies and beautiful doll-like trophy that you can use to signal status amongst other men. No, because men will use women to signal sickness and get into the high status social circles. This is why a lot of men marry. But men prioritise their relationships and will have a relationship with a woman at the cost of these other social connections as well. So what you're saying is complete bullshit. Okay? If a man lands a good-looking, attractive woman, or just a decent-looking woman, or average-looking woman who he's friendly with and is affectionate towards, he'll be happy with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's more like a player power battle. This is what sexual chemistry and flirting is all about. It's like a game. Okay? Whatever. I don't see the point of reducing this to naturalistic arguments and also demonising hypergamy women sounds just like women don't like me because I'm low status and low key just demonising female sexuality. I am demonising female sexuality because I think it's trash that I'm deselected because I know there's been plenty of women who find me attractive and they just won't sleep with me because I'm low status. I've got every right to demonise it and it's got other knock-on effects, right? So men who work themselves into early grave is due to hypergamy. Capitalism is due to hypergamy. Social structures based on extracting resources and giving it to women is based on hypergamy, right? It should be demonised, okay? That the fact that women soullessly use their sexuality to manipulate men, right? If men were just like really picky about looks and just going for like the top 1% of men or 5% of men and just sleeping with them, that'd be one thing, right? You go, okay, they're just really fussy. That's their sexuality, but they're not, right? They'll Harvey Weinstein was getting love letters and groupies. Women will spread their legs for the pig ugly Jabba the Hutt lookalike with status. Yeah? So it conditions men to seek status and commit destructive behaviour and destructive actions to gain that status. Men burn the planet on the ground to win female approval. I don't see how doing all that is even helpful for men's rights because you're being obtuse. Right? The truth is helpful for women's rights because we're based on the truth. How do you even measure the status of the person? Is it dependent on what someone other people they're on par with or worldwide? So he's just like gashing now. Is it just based on factors like wealth, education? It's wealth and education, and your social circles. It's wealth and social circles. Can you charisma and the way you act improve your status? Yes, if it gives us if you give off signals of being rich and being accepted by others, that improves your status, right? If it works. How do you compare a woman's status? Also, looks are part of status. Looks are a part of it, but it's not the main part of it. And there's more to looks than just good facial features and your genetic looks. There's fitness, sign of high status. Expensive fashion, expensive clothes, sign of high status, right? Okay. It's not as simple as saying that men are low status. That women because they are less educated, so women are not attracted to men. I don't know. That's a badly typed out sentence. We're not saying that. Women will bypass men they find attractive to go for the high status man. Harvey Weinstein proves it. Fun fact: I heard that moderators of Inkwell websites have been dating e-girls. The idea is that even within low status men, there is a hierarchy of status of who's the most self-loathing, and women are conquering the men with the high status among low status self-loathing men. Like, do you see how complicated this all is? Because the more you explain who women go for, let alone who they're sexually attracted to, hypergamy is just too simple. What the fuck are you on about? You gibberish, man. Fucking hell. First of all, power is not bad. Lower power comes from the dominant person to the submissive person is not bad. It just needs to be done with consent. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Bedroom roles have a lot to do with power. Just look at the BDSM and kink stuff. It's all based on power. No, it's based on bedroom roles and sex, right? Okay. In a play fighting, each party can switch sides, being dominated and being dominant. But that's just power changing hands. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist in bedroom roles, but power doesn't exist in bedroom roles, right? The only power that exists in bedroom roles is cutting it off and giving it out again. So that the more needy has less power than the less needy. That's how it works, actually. But usually, so postmodern follows everything that comes after the Enlightenment era in Western tradition. No, it doesn't. That's a false definition. It's counterintuitive to all the knowledge about human condition, all because feminists also rely on postmodernism. That's not the reason why you ignore postmodernism, because it's gibberish. For a cult, literally wrote a book on the theory of on the history of sexuality. Yeah, and Hitler also wrote Mein Kampf. Just because someone wrote something doesn't mean anything, right? These figures are male. I don't see the hesitation to learn about their theories because they're gibberish. Also, think about what hypergamy means for men's rights. Men face issues because women don't want to date men because they have higher status than men. This is what it boils down to. Yeah, but the thing is, it's not just dating. Women are taking over the job market and they're drawing lower status men out of the job market. It's more than just dating. The hypergamous instinct has a knock-on effect on the rest of society. We can't just ignore it. This is what it boils down to. Essentially, issues like male loneliness, dating, lack of sexual intimacy. That's due to hypergamy, by the way. We want to make men educated to give them high status, then women so that women can date men again. I've never said that. That would be a secondary effect of men getting status again. Men need to get status for their mental health and well-being, and for their place in society, and for their rights. Right? That's not a good model. Men should be learning and getting educated because they have a lot of potential and it will empower them to have control of their lives. Well, men will not have control of their lives if they ignore her hypergamy. Women pushing them out the job market, right? Taking over the whole of society. Yeah, women are hostile to old men, but they're especially hostile and aggressive to low status men. They only accept higher status men, or men of high enough status for the most part. Putting men's rights as a mechanism to keep hypergamy in check is flawed. Okay. Also, hypergamy has to be kept in check because it's immoral. Also, it's like paedophilia. You have to keep the paedophilic instinct is always going to be there in certain percentage of the population. They're born with it. It's innate, but it has to be kept in check to protect children. Okay. So does hypergamy. Also, removing stigma around bisexuality will actually help as well for men to have fulfilling and meaningful lives. You're not going to. So, how are we going to remove the stigma from male bisexuality? If you go to the T app, right? 95% of the posts, I'm going to prove this in a blog post, I'm going to process it. 95% of the posts are women complaining about men being gay. You're not going to get rid of the stigma of bisexuality because women will just always deselect them, from what I can see, for the most part. Apart from a few fag hags and a few women who get off on male and male sex, right? Most women do not like homosexuality. Period. So yeah, this is just nonsense. This is guilt cashing. Hypergamy is real. There's no denying it anymore, and it's a core foundational issue of the pro male collective. And it's more than just dating. Okay, right? So I'm done. Over and out.